Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Reality Recoded Masterclass. I am so excited you're here and cannot wait to share all of the magic with you. I'm going to open the waiting room now to those that are admitted, and for those that are watching the replay, I hope you enjoy. Hello.
Good morning. Well, afternoon for you. Hi, how are you?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, so glad that you guys are here. Being in Spanish time, we may have some people hop in a little bit later, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to get started. So we may have more people that join in. You can feel free if you want to have your camera on. Great. If you want to have your camera off, that is completely fine as well. And we have here on the screen, so go ahead, you can drop in your name and where you're joining from. Since we're actually a small group, we can say it as well out loud. I'm joining in from Barcelona. And then I'd love to hear as well what you're most excited to learn about today. If you haven't joined my master classes before, I like to keep them pretty interactive because the depth of what I teach can be a little bit abstract at times. So I like to make sure we're all aligned, but also that it's not just me talking, and leading. So feel free as well, any questions that you have throughout, to go ahead and drop those into the chat because I'll be actively reading and just seeing, where we're at. So with that,
I guess I'll say hi. Can you hear me okay?
yes, we can.
David, I'm from Dallas, Texas. And yeah, just from all the sessions I've been on with you before, I was really interested just to reconnect and kind of talk about this whole recoding topic and, help kind of ground me and connect me to what I'm trying to achieve in life.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, glad that you're here. Amazing. So we'll go ahead and,
Sorry. I was trying to unmute my screen. I'm on my
oh,
iPad, and I don't normally use my iPad for calls. Sheldon calling in from Tulum, Mexico. I am super excited for this workshop. It's coming at the perfect time. I'm having a full-on tower moment, if you will, where I just left my sales job. I moved over the weekend. My relationship that's been off and on for the last 8 months, we just decided we're going to move in separate directions. So everything is shifting, and I'm absolutely in need of recoding my reality. So super excited to learn and dive in.
yes, thank you for sharing. So happy to have you here and welcome, Carla. Since we're a small group, Carla, we were just sharing where we're dropping in from and what we're excited to share. So if you feel called to share, the floor is yours. And if not, that's completely fine as well.
No, I will share for sure. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm at a different, I'm like not, I didn't say different, but I want to say similar point actually from what I've heard from the person before me. Because I feel like I'm taking a big leap and I feel it in my whole body, and actually I might start crying. Because I feel like a lot of heaviness those days on me, and it's like everything is coming one step up myself, and I feel like I'm taking now the decision to let's fucking go, and let's take the part of my heart and the one that I am. So yeah, that's where I am. You,
Thank you for sharing. It's super
yeah.
similar to what Sheldon was sharing, and it sounds like David as well, of just being in that space of ready to make a leap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me,
Yeah, a
it's
lot of
yeah.
things start to fall apart right before that moment, which can be really scary, right? Because we want to hold on to these stories of the past. So I think today will be super helpful for all three of you, and I'm excited to just dive in. And for anyone watching the replay as well, we're excited that you're here. So we can start with, we'll just ground in and we'll start to connect our hearts and our energies. And as we learn a little bit more today, you'll see why I do this at the beginning of every masterclass. But I'll just invite you wherever you are, you can first just shake out anything that's in the body right now. We're going to learn that the body is our portal. So any energy right now, any nerves that you have of even what am I going to learn, what's going to be uncovered, what's going to show up, you can shake those out as you get your body into just a comfortable position. But just notice, is there any part of me that needs to move? What haven't you moved today? Maybe your ankles, maybe your wrists, your neck, your shoulders. Maybe you haven't moved your hips or your legs. Just take a second because we're going to drop in. So let's just release any energy that the body's been holding on to. And we'll do this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just let yourself come to stillness. Maybe you allow your eyes to close and you become aware of where your body meets the surface beneath you. Maybe you feel your feet on the ground or within your shoes, your bum being supported by the chair, by the floor. Maybe your back is also supported. Just start to drop into the body. On your next inhale, take a deep inhale in through the nose, filling up, filling up, filling up. Expand the body, then hold at the top. On the exhale, sigh it out and let your hands come to your face. And just allow your hands to start to explore your body. As you take another deep inhale in, filling all the way up. Hold at the top. On the exhale, sigh it out. And just allow your hands to continue to explore your face, your cheeks, your neck. So you start to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the lymphatic system, and just drop in. One of my favorite things to do here is also just pulling down on my ears. And just notice if there's a shift in your physical body, in your mental body. Maybe your thoughts begin to slow down. Maybe tension in your body begins to release. Maybe in your energetic body, you can already feel a shift. These are the 3 bodies we'll be working with today. So just start to connect. Where am I right now? Mentally, on a scale of 1 to 10. Emotionally, on a scale of 1 to 10. And physically, on a scale of 1 to 10. You can allow your hands to drop. And for a moment, just breathing in and out through the nose. Begin to send that breath into your heart space. This may be something you're familiar with, or breathing into the heart may be a new concept. So maybe you imagine that there's lights in your heart that's breathing with you. Just allow this light to expand and contract as you breathe. And just check in with your heart. One final check-in. How's your heart today? Your heart is your center point of attraction. From an electromagnetic perspective, your heart has the greatest capacity to expand your frequency and your field. So without judgment, without needing to change, just notice, does my heart feel open? Or does my heart feel closed in this moment? And with the breath, with awareness, and with the intention, can you invite your heart to soften just 1% more? And little by slowly, you can begin to deepen your breath once more. Bringing gentle movement into the body, into the fingers, into the toes. Stretching the arms, the legs, the fingers. And slowly coming back into the body, into the room around you, and opening your eyes when you're ready. And I'd love to just hear in the chat from a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at today? 10 being I feel absolutely on fire, open, alive, connected, receptive. 1 being I feel more closed off, maybe I'm repelling, maybe I'm not aligning, maybe I'm not attracting. And again, without judgment, but just throwing that in the chat. Where are you at today? I love doing this practice because it's actually something you can regularly do with yourself and with your desires. Do I feel aligned? Yes or no? Do I feel connected? Yes or no? On a scale of 1 to 10, how open, how receptive do I feel? On a scale of 1 to 10, how closed? 5, feel like I'm drifting back to bad habits from the past and self-sabotaging, isolating. Thank you for sharing. I resonate with that, right? We go through these cycles out of 4 or 5 today, ready for a shift, but the last several days have been heavy. Yep. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I actually know all of you on the call personally, which feels super exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking. But I'm still going to introduce myself because we're constantly changing. We have another in here. So I feel like my thoughts are very clear. My energetic body feels heavy, but also because I got a tattoo on Monday, yep, which presents a portal, and this is moving through me. Absolutely. Such portals. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, welcome everyone. I'm so excited that you're here. And I know that the work that I do can be quite heavy, but I still try to keep it light and fun because I really am under the belief that healing doesn't have to be hard. Healing doesn't have to be so deep and so heavy all of the time, right? We are in this polarity and in this spectrum of being able to enjoy while doing this deep work. And that is why with any shadow work, anything that we do, self-love and that compassion is absolutely necessary. Because we have to, as we dive into the depths of who we are and any shame, guilt, etc. that we have, we need to love ourselves through that process. And when I think of who am I, that's really who I feel like I am at my core, is that reminder for all beings, including myself, to love yourself, to just show up for yourself exactly as you are, knowing that you are worthy. And from that, I feel like that's truly the call of my soul that has led me to my work as a trauma-informed somatic guide, a quantum healer, a Reiki master, a hypnotherapist, and many other things. But through all of my modalities, I think these little pictures seal up who I am a lot, which is truly just a silly being, really connecting to the inner child and seeing the inner child as our way to healing, our way of living. I think our inner child really holds the key to who we are as humans and who we were born to be before the programs, before the fear, before the doubt, which we'll go into deep today. But I really feel like I am here to help people remember that they can heal, they can break their cycles. And if their life feels dull or like it's living in sepia, which mine did for a really long time, I felt so lost and afraid. And I'll share a little bit more about my story in a bit. But you do have the power to make your life a holy shit life. And that's whatever that means for you, right? And there's no right or wrong way to live as long as you're being authentic to yourself. And so I'm really grateful that you are already sharing so authentically in the chat. And I hope you just know this is a safe space to share and to be seen and to express, because it's through that, when we truly face our shadows, that we are able to then see the light and experience that. And so I have some funny little stickers all around here. If you see something that resonates with you, I'm glad. I hope you see that we are all mirrors of each other, and we're all just helping each other home. So thank you for being here as well, because teaching these brings me back to my work and the root of why I do this, but also why I chose to do this work and why my soul chose this path. So without you guys being here and being mirrors and teachers for me, I also wouldn't have this opportunity to give this masterclass. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And so today, Reality Recoded, I'm really excited because I feel like every time I do a masterclass, I get more clear on what do I want to teach the collective. And I've been noticing more and more that this theme of manifestation keeps coming up for me. And it used to be something that repelled me because I feel like in the spiritual community, manifestation has turned into like manifest a yacht, manifest a mansion, manifest all of these things, which are great. If that's truly what your soul desires, like there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I feel like manifestation is really authentic living. It's really coming back to the core of who it is that you want. And when we're focusing instead on healing ourselves, our manifestations actually just come naturally to us because we are living in alignment with the truth of who we really are. And that is different for each person, right? That's why we all have our own different hopes and dreams, and we all have our own unique gifts. And so I've created this training where we're going to go really deep into the science because I kind of went into a rabbit hole on some of this, but it really interested me. And so I thought my community would want to learn it as well. And from that rabbit hole, from everything you learned today, it will help you get out of that place of feeling lost or overwhelmed when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to trust, when it comes to calling in what you want, or maybe even knowing what you want. As some of you have shared, you've already been seeing these self-sabotaging behaviors, the starting, the stopping, the feeling misaligned. This will help you as well. And it will also help you expand your nervous system capacity for whatever you're calling in, whether that's healthy love, whether that's money, whether that's more peace or joy or happiness, because sometimes our nervous systems don't feel safe, feeling healthy, feeling just calm. And so we'll expand that capacity to not only receive these material items, but also these feelings that we want to feel, because maybe you've been running on chaos for quite possibly your entire life. That's how my nervous system was until I learned how to expand my nervous system capacity. And through that, I hope that you can then begin to magnetize your desires. And so today we're going to go over my 3 secrets to alive living, which picking just 3 was super hard, but diving into the quantum will be really exciting, a big part of them. And then I'll teach you about how your frequency is formed and also how you can shift your frequency. And from there, because the fun never ends, right? Just in one 90-minute session, I'll also share with you why people can still get blocked. And we're going to do a live transmission. So there will be science, there will be depth here. I will keep it interactive. But as we go through, if you have questions, if I lose you, please, please, please just ask in the chat. And I am so happy to answer any questions. So why manifestation and nervous system regulation? So I was sharing a bit about manifestation before, but something that really, really drew me to manifestation in the beginning was that I will call it egoistic desire to just have more. And maybe that's because I'm American and capitalism has truly taken its grip on me at one point. But I just thought that by having more, I would be healed. And that's why manifestation appealed to me at first. I thought when I finally get this partner or the body or the job or the clients or the money, that I would be happy and I would feel whole. And so that was my first desire with manifestation. If you know a little bit about my story, I, from a very early age, had an eating disorder, which soon transpired into an addiction with alcoholism, with a little bit of drug use dabbled in here and there. And that was when I was about 17 years old. And so from a very early age, I started to feel this separation of wanting other things outside of myself to control them in order to feel whole. I started using drugs and alcohol to really feel complete within myself. And every time I drank, I felt like I was filling this void within me. Once I started my spiritual journey, it was really interesting because I felt like, okay, I'd really healed this dependency on alcohol and with drugs. But then it transpired into now I was over obsessive with working out, or maybe I shopped a lot, or other things outside of myself again, right? And this is where manifestation came in. Then it was, now I can put my focus on when I achieve these 3D things, then I'll feel whole, then I'll feel better. And that started to actually work for a while. I've always been someone that could manifest very, very, very easily. I'm a manifester in human design, but I also would get these things and I would still feel empty. So there came a point in my life where I had moved to Southern California. I was making over 6 figures. I was living with a partner who I thought I would be with for the rest of my life. I had a tribe of friends around me. I had started my soul-led business, and I thought I was at the point where I was like, I should be happy. I've applied the law of attraction. I was having coaching clients. I was doing all of these things, and I still felt so empty. And I also had reached a point of plateau. And this is where nervous system regulation comes in play with manifestation. Because when you are able to actually expand your capacity within your nervous system to hold your manifestations, that's number one, when they start to come in, right? Because you can actually attract them. But you also have to open yourself up to joy and to love and to being able to feel those big feelings, which I didn't do. So I was able to call these things in, but then the feelings that I actually wanted to feel, right? Because I wanted those things only to feel relief, only to feel joy, only to feel that safety. And I couldn't because my nervous system didn't feel safe enough to connect to those. And so over the last 3 years is when I've really dove into more on the nervous system regulation side and been able to pair that with my 7 years of experience with the subconscious mind and the quantum field. And so this training is really to bring all of those together and to help you understand in your body, in your mind, and in your energy field, how those work together. And if those aren't in harmony, this is where self-sabotage comes in play. And so where I'm at today is I also had a big quantum crumble, like I think all of you are experiencing in this moment of, all right, things fell apart. My relationship ended. I decided to move to Barcelona. I quit my corporate job. And I really had no idea what was coming in the future. I felt very, very lost and very, very scared. But through using the tools that I will teach you today, I've come to the place where I'm at now, which I can confidently say is the most clear, grounded, open, and happy place I've ever felt in my life. I am not yet at the place of monetarily making what I want, but that doesn't affect the way that I see myself in the mirror. I am in the healthiest relationship and happiest relationship I've ever been in. And I'm working with my business that lights my soul on fucking fire. And it is because I've been able to take the risks and regulate my nervous system throughout the process and use these practices that I've been able to create this life where I feel confident and comfortable in my body. I have a healthy relationship with food. I have a healthy relationship with substances, with shopping, with sex, with any vices. I'm at this place of feeling balanced and secure within myself. And that for me is the biggest gift to give to myself and that I hope to give to you as well. And I share this with you because I want you to know that if I can do this too, through everything that I know I've been through in my life, if I'm able to come back to a place of balance, if I'm able to come back to a place of peace, of security, I know that you can too. And so I want to start to plant this seed in your mind, in your subconscious mind, and let this be a mirror because we are all mirrors of each other. If I can do it, you can do it too. And anyone that you see achieving a desire or goal that you have, if they have the ability to do that, you also have the ability to do that if that is your true desire. So today we're going to drop into the 3 secrets of manifestation and regulation. And so secret 1 is that you are not separate from your desires. Secret 2 is that you are actually already a master manifester. And secret 3 is that one small shift can change your entire reality. So I'm curious, after just hearing all of that, which secret is popping out to you here? Are you most excited to learn about? 1, 2, or 3?
I don't know if you want us in the chat or to
Yes,
unmute, but
the chat is good, but you
okay.
can.
Okay.
Sorry, love. Thank you. 2 for me. Awesome. You are already a magic master manifester. 3, awesome. 3, okay, amazing. Well, so we're gonna start off really nerdy and then we'll get into some more fun stuff. But secret 1, you are not separate from your desires. Everything is connected. So what do I mean when I say that? Because we probably have heard that quite a lot, and it's just like, that's great, we're all connected, but how? So within the quantum world, there is the belief of quantum entanglement, and this is a proven science. And so what quantum entanglement is, it's a term in physics that tells us that once something begins as a whole, even if it is separated by a million miles, energetically, it is all still connected. And the reason this pertains to us is because if we go back far enough in time, there was a time when you, when me, when the earth, the entire being, we were all connected. And this was right before the Big Bang. And so energetically, what this means for us is that even though the particles have separated, they're all still connected. And so from this lens of quantum entanglement and quantum physics, what's really cool is that when we change one particle, we change the whole. And so what I mean by that is we are all little fractals of a bigger picture. And from that, we're all having our own unique experience of the same Earth, right? But where quantum entanglement is so important, it's that you can shift the things around you by shifting yourself. And you actually aren't separate from what you desire. So when you think about the relationship, the money, the clients, the peace, the love, the joy, right? Because feelings also have a frequency. They're not separate from you. They're something that you are already connected to. And so that's something I really want you to remember. Number 1 is we are all connected. Another thing amazing about the universe is that it's constantly repeating itself. And so if you look at any of these images, which are all from nature, you can see that they are the universe repeating itself in patterns. And something that's also really awesome, and again affirms how connected we are all are, and that we are all a part of this bigger whole, is that the body is also constantly repeating itself. So here we have pictures of the brain, we have pictures of the blood cells, of the neurons, of the lungs, of the heart, and you can see that everything here is repeating itself in the same way as nature, as trees, as lightning, as rivers. The body also is following this same form. So I share this as further proof as we are all following this same universal energy, this same frequency, and these same patterns of repetition. And so what creates these patterns are called fractals. And the reason fractals are important is because fractals are a repeating pattern that continue to repeat itself. And this is what creates these different patterns within nature that we see. But I love to think of within each person, we also have our own fractals that are running within us, our own patterns. And so we'll get a little more into this with the subconscious mind, but I just right now remember fractals are patterns. And a fractal is a repeating pattern within nature. And if this pattern gets disrupted, then the whole can start to become irregular or fragmented, which leads to an inherent disorder. So this is why we want to keep our natural being, our natural way of being in our patterns. And so from this, I share with you that you are God, source, universe, whatever your higher pattern, higher belief is, in human form, because you literally are. Like, science proves it, energy proves it. We can feel that within ourselves. But for your logical mind, so I always love to start from that logical mind first, just see that there's actually no difference between you, which is a creation of God, source, universe, and everything happening on earth. And so here you can see as well these same patterns that are running within lightning, within the leaves, within our own eyes and galaxies. You can see here that those are all the same. Between tree roots and the nervous system, between rivers and our blood vessels, between our lungs and the limbs on a tree, even our own fingerprint in a tree stump. So just planting the seed a little more, we are way more magical, way more divine, and way more connected to the things around us than we may think. And that feeling of separation is actually an illusion, because the things that we desire come from the same energy as us. And so it's only through patterning, right? Disruptive patterning that has happened within our own being that we now believe these things are separate to us, that we stop connecting to our inherent being, our inherent way, which is abundance, openness, and oneness, that connection. Give me a 1 in the chat if this is landing for you or if you have any questions. One. Okay, awesome. So, secret 2. You are already a master manifester. And there's a little more of a secret down here, but even if you don't spend hours a day meditating, you can still raise your frequency, shift your frequency, and receive your desires. And so everything is energy, right? Which I think we all know, where everything here has its own frequency and its own vibration. And these are physical and non-physical things. So it's not just that a tree has a vibration. It's not just that our body has its own vibration, but every thought, every feeling, every emotion has a vibration, as well as every experience has its own frequency. And through the collective sum of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your experiences, your actions, you create your unique vibration. So this is your center point of attraction. And the photo that I have here is the toroid field. And what's beautiful about this, so this is a donut-shaped field that is constantly vibrating around every single person. And through that unique sum of what you think, what you feel, what you do every single day, you are creating a field around yourself that is vibrating, that is a match to different things. Which means that every outcome and every possibility also has its own frequency, right? And so when you think of what it is that you desire, that outcome, that possibility, that reality, right, that you are wanting to call in has its own frequency. And so do you. Okay? And so what we also just learned is through quantum entanglement, everything is connected. So it's all connected, and then they're all vibrating at their own vibration based off of the fractals, based off of the patterns that are running at that moment. Which means if every outcome has its own frequency, and if we are constantly manifesting based off of our frequency, constantly calling in things based off of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, The reality that you are living right now is a manifestation from your past self. And that might feel really empowering, or you might be really fucking mad at your past self right now if there's something in your life that you're like, I don't want that, right? But the beauty of claiming this, the beauty of saying, I am the creator. Yep, really mad. Exactly. But the beauty of this, of saying, I created this, means if I don't like it, I also have the power to change it, right? I'm not the victim of what I manifested. I am in power. I'm in my power to say, if I don't like this, then I can fucking change it. And you can, because you are that powerful. You were powerful enough to manifest what is in your reality right now, whether you were consciously or subconsciously aware of it, and you are powerful enough to shift it. So we know this, we know that we can, bring our frequency, we can change what it is that we're manifesting, but how? How is our frequency formed? So as I was sharing earlier, your inner child holds the key to your frequency, because your frequency is deeply influenced by your childhood experiences. And your childhood experiences affect your subconscious mind, your nervous system, and your energetic frequency, which are three very powerful things. And again, as I said, these are the mental, the physical, and the energetic aspects that we are working with today. So I'm going to just pause here and talk a little bit more about how your childhood may affect where you are today in terms of your nervous system, your subconscious mind, and your energy. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that their frequency being affected by their childhood comes from their early experiences. And this is based on how your emotional needs were met as a child. And from that, it affects how your nervous system then responds to the world around you. And so what happens if you have experienced either long-term complex childhood trauma, or if you know that you have non-secure attachment, which again is a dysregulated nervous system, or if you didn't receive the love or attention that you needed as a child, or if you didn't have long-term trauma, but there were very specific big T trauma events in your life, then this will affect the way that your nervous system is able to hold different experiences. Because trauma, and this isn't to diminish any traumatic experiences, but at the end of the day, trauma is fear. And so if there is no fear, there is no trauma. And if there is no fear, then we are open. And so you don't need to share this in the chat, but I just invite you to think for a moment on the experience that you had as a child, on the level of bonding, of support, and of emotional connection that you had in childhood. Because this affects your natural way of being, of thinking, of feeling, and of responding to the world. And if you did not have that level of bonding, then your world begins to become disruptive. And this is what causes anxiety, depression, low self-worth, fear of the future, self-doubt, self-sabotage. It's also what causes us to then accept things that we know are less than we deserve, and really to not set those boundaries with ourselves or the people around us. And this all starts in childhood. So just take a deep breath with that knowing. So I know this can be quite heavy to even think about. And just sigh that out whenever you're ready. Maybe you even bring a hand to your heart and just let yourself know that you're safe, that you're okay. So I share this with you about the nervous system, about your frequency, about your childhood, because to me, your nervous system really holds the key to everything. If you have a healthy nervous system, which means you are able to bounce through stress easily. And I don't mean you're able to push yourself through stress, as many of us are. I mean you're actually able to stay calm, to stay open, and to stay rooted, regardless of what is happening around you. That is having a healthy nervous system. And from that place of being able to feel safe, you're able to stay present, which means you're able to stay open. You're able to attract these high frequency experiences. If you have an unhealthy nervous system, it means that you're likely, when you face stress, doubt, worry, fear, you're immediately jumping from this place of peace, either into anxiety, into fight or flight, right? Getting into that anger, getting into ready to push people away, or into shutdown, where you're isolating, you're freezing, you're in shame, and you're really just hiding. And so each of these different systems, different states within the nervous system has different emotions that are tied to it. And this is where we bring in our energetic frequency. When you are able to see the health of your nervous system as the key to your frequency, because you're able to hold these emotions, you're able to stay open, you're able to attract experiences that align to them. Now, something I want to share here is, first, I'd love to just know, as you're watching this, and if you can read here, as I just described the 3 states of the nervous system, where do you feel like you sit the most? Would that be in open, ventral vagal, green, red, sympathetic, which is fight or flight, fear, anxiety, anger, panic, rage, worry, or blue, freeze, disassociation, numbness, depression, shame, shutdown? Again, this is just bringing awareness for yourself. So when we think of this nervous system, when we think of these frequencies, something I want to share as well is, I'm not saying just be love and light, right? When we want to expand our nervous system capacity, what's super important here is to allow yourself to feel all of the emotions that are associated with the other stages of the nervous system, which means allowing yourself to feel that fear, to feel the grief, to feel the anger, to feel whatever that guilt, shame may be. And through that, you're then creating more capacity within your system to open up to new experiences. And just throw a 1 in the chat if you are following, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. Okay. 1. Awesome. And so from here, we've now talked about, okay, we each have a frequency. We each have a vibration. Our nervous system helps us with that. This frequency is created, these patterns, these fractals are created in childhood and then are stored within our nervous system. And that then creates this energy that we are a match for. So bringing this all together, just showing the energy that is within you, the energy that you are vibrating at the most is what you are attracting. Like attracts like, right? And so this is where I was really saying, this isn't to say never feel anger, never feel fear, never feel grief, because these are actually the gateway. You have to feel these lower emotions to feel these higher emotions. You have to open up your capacity to feel this entire range if you want to reach deeper states of love, of joy, of peace, of enlightenment. Otherwise, we just stay at this neutrality, where we just feel safe here. Or maybe we stay cycling down in these lower emotions because we feel safe there. But we truly have to open ourselves up to the full spectrum in order to feel everything and attract higher vibrations. And that means attracting higher experiences, right? Because when we think of what it is that we want to attract, the feelings that I'm assuming, right? We want to attract this because it's going to allow me to feel freedom, love, openness, right? I don't want to attract something to make myself feel guilt or shame or fear. And so now we know, all right, we're constantly attracting different things. And I have these patterns stored within my system. Amazing. And something about the nervous system is that the health of your nervous system, it doesn't just affect how you are attracting things. It affects the way that you respond to the world, right? So your nervous system affects how you respond to romantic relationships, to friendships, to money, to food, to success, to adversity, to change, to how you parent, to your level of self-worth. If you allow yourself to feel pleasure, to feel joy, to feel tranquility. Your nervous system has the ability to impact the way that you are connecting with each of these things based off of those patterns, those beliefs, and the frequency, the energy that is stored within the nervous system, right? So if you think of the nervous system as we were born, and you were clear. You were that one clear image that came from the earth. And then through childhood experiences and life experiences, those patterns started to get created. If you think of those images I was showing at the beginning, these imprints started to be made, right? And so there was one normal pattern that was being run, and then that pattern started to get fragmented. It started to get disrupted. And now, the way that you're responding to the world is a mirror of those fragments, of these disruptions in your natural patterning. So from this list, you can share this in the chat. What is one area of your life, or maybe it's outside of this list, but that you're really working to improve? That, like, maybe that's why you joined this masterclass. We're going to work with that moving forward. And as you put that in, so this is just a reminder. A regulated nervous system means living in the present moment, means being receptive, means being in that openness within your frequency. And a dysregulated nervous system means living on stories of the past. It means living on those old fragmented interruptions in your patterning within your system. And that means you are repelling the things that you desire because you are not vibrating where you would like to be. And just as I had said, fear, doubt, low self-worth, self-sabotage are disruptions to your natural abundant patterns. What you can also see here is how in nature, right? When these fractals, when these patterns start to get interrupted, it creates mutations. It actually creates genetic mutations in plants, in animals, in the nature around us. And so the reason to me this was so interesting is because it just further proves, like, maybe within ourselves we can feel the fear and the doubt, but we might not actually be able to see it. Right? Although it will eventually, if we stay vibrating at these, this is where disease comes in, right? Disease is a change in this natural way of being that is expanding, because the universe is always expanding and so are we. And so when you think of a plant, right? If you're anything like me, you've killed 1 million plants, and I've been able to actually see when they're not getting the care that they need, or when their DNA, when I've bought a plant and maybe it was one that was mixed, right, to make a certain type of flower or whatever that may be. And you can start to see how internal and external factors affect these plants. Or maybe even when you're hiking and you can see that there are different mutations that have come into like the natural landscape, and now the plants are starting to die. And that is because their DNA is starting to change. And in that same way, our DNA changes through these childhood experiences, which means our way of responding to the world and our energetic frequency is changing. And so this might all sound very heavy, and if it does, I apologize. But I really am saying this to empower you, because you are manifesting at every single moment, even if you don't realize it. You are broadcasting a signal, okay? And that signal is always being responded to. And this is what we are going to dive into in Secret 3. So what I really want to land for you with Secret 2 is you are always, number one, broadcasting a signal, but also that signal can be disrupted through different experiences. And that is why so many parts of the same whole are having a completely different experience at the same time. And what I mean by that is every single person on this call, we are all parts of the same whole, but we are having completely different experiences at the same time because we are living within our own bodies that have their own frequency, right? Based off of generational experiences, based off of experiences in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, and in your own cellular DNA and makeup, your own subconscious mind and your own nervous system. And from that, that's why two people can experience the same exact reality, right? As you are all experiencing this call right now, and different things are landing, different things are hitting whatever is meant for you. And from that separation, not separation, but from this understanding that we're constantly experiencing things, I think the hardest part is staying safe, staying regulated when I don't feel safe. Financial or emotional needs are unmet. Yes. Then this dysregulation creates more disruption. Absolutely. Okay. Our practice will be so helpful for this. So that's something we're coming to right now. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And so I'm just going to finish this thought, which was, so we are all having the different experiences because we have all been programmed in different ways. And so this isn't to say if you do healing work, we're all going to be the exact same, right? But when you do the healing work, you're going to come back to your natural state, which all of our natural state is abundance. All of our natural state is openness. All of our natural state is that safety, that oneness, and that connectedness to our desires. So this is where manifestation and regulation, exactly as Sheldon had so beautifully shared, are so important, because this dysregulation creates disruption. Okay, so that leads us to Secret 3, which is where things are going to start to shift. But before we dive in, any questions, or are you all following and are you with me? If yes, drop a 1. One following. Awesome. This is gold. Thank you. All right. I'm just going to move because we've been here now for an hour. So let's just let our bodies know we're good. Shake it off. Okay. Secret 3. One small shift can change your entire reality. So once you understand how this works, you have the power to shift your vibration, which shifts your entire reality. And what's so fucking cool about this is, so you can tell I'm getting fired up because I love this part, but it's something so subtle. So it's not these huge changes that we think we need to make. It's small changes within ourselves. So the universe is always rearranging itself to respond to you. I love to think of the quantum field in this way because if you look at this image, if you think of us being the center point of attraction in the middle, and there are all of these realities, all of these outcomes, all of these possibilities that are always taking place around us. The universe, depending on how you are vibrating in that moment, is constantly rearranging itself to you. Leo's getting his clothes for work. So from that, if you think of, if I make one small shift in how I think, in how I act, in how I breathe today, the universe is going to rearrange itself around you to respond to that new vibration. And if that doesn't empower you, I don't know what will, because that to me is something I constantly think of in every act that I do, that the universe is rearranging itself instantaneously within the quantum field, responding to me. The more I align to what I desire, and the more I open myself to my natural state. So the universe responds to your frequency. Your patterns create your frequency. Oh, and your nervous system holds your frequency. Your nervous system holds your patterns, right? And so from that, what does this mean? This means that if you want to shift your frequency, you have to work with your, this is teacher Kendall coming in, but throw it in the chat if you know, what do we need to work with then if we want to shift our frequency? Okay, well, the answer is your nervous system. Because your body is your antenna and your nervous system sets your frequency. And I put this photo here because I want you to see when I showed fractals before, when I showed patterns, when I showed the way that the body has literally patterns throughout every single part of us. Our nerve endings, right, go to the tips of our fingers, the tips of our toes, up through our brain, and they go through our entire body, right? And so this is from a very scientific standpoint, but I really want you to think of yourself as this electric being, because every single time you think a thought, you feel a feeling, you allow yourself to visualize a better future, better way of being, you are firing and wiring different vibrations and frequencies throughout your body. And this is where it's one small shift, right? One small shift can start to change the frequency, the radio that is dialing in from your body antenna. So I put this before, but we're going to come back to this. This means if we need to work with our nervous system, a regulated nervous system is what allows us to live in the present, right? Not in the past, not in the future, and is what allows us to be receptive. And you can throw this in the chat. And again, there's no wrong answers, and this is just a fun open space. But what 3 things do we have in common if I'm regulated, if I'm present, and if I'm open and receptive? What do all of these have in common? Okay. Safety. So all 3 of these, we cannot feel fully regulated, and we cannot allow ourselves to regulate if we don't feel safe, right? Because our nervous system, its job is to keep us safe. We can't stay in the present if we don't feel safe, right? Because our amygdala uses stories of the past to try to, again, keep us safe. So if we are present, we must feel safe. And if we want to be receptive and open, we have to feel safe. And so I'm curious, what does safety mean for you? And I would love to hear that in the chat. What does safety mean to you? Nah, I'll give you some time, and I'm just gonna go on a little blurb here about safety for me. So for most of my life, I didn't realize that I didn't feel safe. But I had anxiety. I had panic attacks. I would go through depressive loops and push people away, even through my excessive drinking and trying to control. I thought I was in a good place, but the truth was that I didn't feel safe. And the more that I have worked with my body and with my inner child, and I've been able to create what does safety mean for me, and I really saw what was not present for me, which was a space to be myself, which was a space to explore what were my true desires, right? What is it that Kendall really wants when no one around her is telling her who to be, how to look, how to dress, how to act, how to speak? And I realized I had to create that safety from within. But in order to create it, I needed to realize what was it that I wanted to create. And from the chat, being able to express my deepest thoughts and fears and not being made to feel unworthy or invalidated. Oh, I resonate with that so deeply. Thank you for sharing. This is what I struggle with because my 5D self knows safety is internal, but my 3D self thinks of safety in terms of my basic needs being met. My bills are being paid, there's food on the table, and a roof over my head. I still hold the belief that if all of those things are true, then I'll feel good, but I know I need to create that without external factors. Yes. So I relate to that as well. So thank you so much for going into detail there, because from that, right, safety is this feeling. And that's not to say, like, yes, if we don't know where we're sleeping, if we don't have shelter, if we don't have food, if we can't meet our basic needs, we won't feel safe. That's very normal, natural, and that means the nervous system is working, right? But if those are being met and we still don't feel safe, right? Or if we are in this level of uncertainty, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And for me, going all in on my business 2 years ago, I had to learn how to feel safe when I have no idea who are my next clients. I have no idea where is that money going to come from, right? It's just developing that deep sense of trust. So how do we do this? How do we create that safety within the nervous system, right? And this is what I've been studying, and this is why I want to share this with you. And so there are 2 different frequencies is how I like to look at it, right? You're either in that trust or you're in fear. And so if you're in the fear frequency, that means you're living in those fragments. You're allowing your natural patterns to have now been disrupted. And now you're living in scarcity, in disconnection, right? You're living in separation. And what that looks like is chasing, obsessing, forcing, controlling. Those are actions. In the body, you might feel contracted or tense. You may have an extreme sense of urgency. In the mind, you may be overthinking, scarcity, be afraid, alone, dysregulated. This is fear frequency. I think I'm such a mouth breather that when I give presentations, my throat gets really dry, so please excuse me. Okay, then if we are in the trust frequency, we are flowing, we are abundant, we are connected to that oneness, which means you're in that frequency of attracting, you're detaching from the outcomes. You're not worrying about how, right? Because in manifestation, we don't worry about how. We just worry on our vibration and we trust that it's coming. So when you're in this trust frequency, you're flowing with life. Not to say you're not taking action, but you're staying open to the possible outcomes. You're surrendering, right? If things don't go according to your plan, that's okay. You allow that to happen. You stay open. You trust, you follow your intuition. You are regulated, peaceful, and magnetic. So reading these two lists, where do you stay more? In fear or in trust? And this is in relation to the area of your life that you want to work with. And if you feel called, you can throw whatever that area of your life is in the chat. Okay, fear mostly. I have moments of trust, but fleeting. Okay. And again, this isn't to beat ourselves up, right? This is just having that awareness. All right, I'm in fear most of the time, and that's okay. So we have all of this awareness now. I'm able to change. I know how my frequency has been created. Maybe, yes, throat lozenges. We've had to put the air conditioning on here now that it's summer, and it's been, whew. So you guys are on the journey for the European summer with me. But so we now know, okay, I am connected with the universe. I am in charge of my frequency. And it is through regulating my nervous system that I can control that. So now what? Depending on where I'm at in my cycle, I'm more able to tune into trust. That is so normal. From luteal on, we actually, as women, are naturally more dysregulated. And so for women, like, these practices are even more important to know where you're at and know I need to go slow. I need to check in. I need to tap in with my body. Okay, so I'm super excited because this is where we're going to get in now to a demonstration. So I want you to know, number one, that you are able to heal. And I know that if you're watching this, if you're in my world, you know that. And you are able to heal your frequency as well. That no story of the past needs to control your future. Even if your present, as we had said before, is a manifestation of your past does not have to define your future. This does require commitment. It does require self-compassion, and it requires patience, but it is 100% doable. And why is that? Neuroplasticity is number one, because with neuroplasticity, that is our body's natural ability to create new neural pathways, and we never lose that. So you are constantly able to fire and rewire new pathways to create a new lens of being, a new way of responding to the world. And neuroplasticity is not just within your brain, it is within the entire neural pathways, right, in your nervous system throughout your entire body. Which means you can not only reprogram the way that your mind responds, but the way that your body responds. And when you can work on your mind and your body, we naturally work on our energy. And through that, what does that mean? When we work on our energy, because of quantum entanglement, because we know that we are naturally connected to all of the things around us, that is who you are. You are God, source, universe in human form. Nothing is separate from you. You already are the version of you that you need to be in order to create the life that you want. And there's already a reality that exists where you have that. It just takes healing yourself, working with yourself. Okay. So we're going to dive in now to my signature method, which is the clam method. And I love this name because it's very silly, but this is the method I have used since my very first program back in 2019 and is what has stuck with me. And more as I've now worked with the body and even deeper into the mind and energetics, it has just become so true. So the clam method is clarity, liberation, alignment, and magnetism. But it's also subconscious, somatics, and energetics equals magnetism. Hypnotherapy, trauma release, and quantum healing equals magnetism. Your brain, your nervous system, and your aura equals magnetism. Your mind, your body, and your soul equals magnetism. So no matter what way you want to look at this, magnetism comes by bringing into cohesion, into harmony, your mind, your body, and your soul. So give me a 1 or a hell yeah, or whatever it is, if you are ready to dive into the clam method and now experience this. You have made it through the science, you have made it through all of that. So thank you for just listening, for sitting with me. Okay, I see a yes and a ready. Amazing. This is my favorite part, even though, you know, I love talking. Okay. So choose one area of your life where you are currently feeling limited and write that in the chat. Career. Okay. Relationships, truly connecting. Amazing. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right, so you can either write this down or you can use the chat as your journal because I want to hear these from you. But if you need some time to think about it, go ahead. So first, think about why can't you have what you want in this area of your life? And your subconscious mind always speaks immediately. So whatever came through, let that be heard. And maybe you want to rant on that a little bit deeper, but I'll give you some time here to write that down. This first question, why can't you have that? I'm not showing up fully. Okay. And let's go deeper on that. Why can't you show up fully? What's blocking you from showing up in your full capacity? I'm burnt out. Okay. And from that, Sheldon and David, feel free to drop in whatever. What are you doing or not doing that's causing this burnout? If I don't see the results as quick as I want. Yep. Okay. A lot of damage was done to relationships during divorce, and I didn't focus on my kids. I was determined to get vengeance on my ex, and this damaged relationships further. Okay. And so, David, what have you made this to mean now? So these relationships have been damaged, and why can't you now have that closeness in your relationships? Okay, so Sheldon, I was in a sales role. It sucked the soul out of me. Okay, so from that, so we're on two paths here. So when I fully showed up, I didn't see results as quickly as I want, and at the same time, my job was sucking the soul out of me. And so from there, what have you made that mean? Do you feel like there's a part of you that feels like things don't come quickly, or the success isn't going to come even if you align, right? Because we're here trying to get to what is that limiting belief? Or is there the belief that hard work is going to make you burn out? Maybe that has resistance. Okay. Okay, my daughter won't talk to me, blocked me in every way. Okay. Believes a lot of the lies, yes, that her mom told her. And so, what are the beliefs here that have been created around this experience? That I am not worthy. Okay, I'm struggling with uncovering the belief. Okay. So David, I'm going to have you answer, what are you doing or not doing because of that belief that I'm not worthy? How are you acting or interacting in that relationship with your daughter? And Sheldon, okay. So struggling with uncovering the belief. So let's think first of, why can't you have what you want in your life? Because what you're doing or not doing is not showing up fully, right? And if you want a little deep breathing to go into this, let me know. Give me a little one or a yes, and we can breathe into that. Okay, I've asked for 4 years. It's hard to believe. Yep. Okay. Thank you, David, for sharing that. I feel like I almost do. Like there are glimmers of it, and then I get scared. I take a second job. I think will give me more stability while I build my brand. Yeah, I've tried to give her space. Okay. And then the second job takes everything from me. All right. Thank you guys so much for going deep into this. So, okay. Amazing. From this, all right, we have a lot of clarity now. One is working on the belief, okay, I'm not worthy. That's number one with David. And Sheldon, okay, struggling with uncovering the belief. Yep, so then I get scared. So what are you afraid of? Yep. Okay, missing out on being her dad and her new stepdad replacing me. Yep. Okay, that I won't be able to support myself financially. Okay. Okay, my loves. So, amazing job going deep. Let's work with these two beliefs here for the next practice. One is I won't be able to support myself financially. And if you want to add to that, like with my soul-led business, let's work with that. And then the other is I am not worthy of love. How do those feel for you? Give me a 1 if those feel like, okay, that's definitely something that I want to work with. Or if you want to rewrite it, please do. Spout on. Okay. 1. Okay. So, this is where we're going to drop into the body. And so with this, I'm going to invite you to make a butterfly here by crossing your thumbs and bring it to your chest. I also want to work on what David is focusing on. Okay. And so just pick your belief, whatever that limiting belief is. Both feel alive. All right. Whatever feels best for you, my love. It's all connected, so don't worry. Okay. And once you have that, you can close your eyes and just start to tap your hands over your chest. So bringing this butterfly over your chest. And just start to breathe right, left, right, left, tapping. And start to repeat either in your head or out loud this limiting belief. So I'm not worthy. And that might even be I'm not worthy of money. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of success. Might just be I'm not worthy. And keep repeating this. Keep breathing. And just start to notice what's happening in the body as you repeat this. And allow yourself to go deeper with the sensation. That might be a pit in your stomach, tightness in your chest, numbness over your body. Whatever you feel, just allow that to deepen as you repeat this limiting belief. And I know this can be really uncomfortable, and that's okay. We won't be here for much longer, but just notice how this feels up in your body, because this is feedback from your nervous system. I'm not worthy. I can't support myself. And allow that to deepen just a little bit more. Maybe you even squeeze whatever feels tight, or invite the numbness. Just keep breathing. Keep tapping. And then drop the limiting belief. And just begin to breathe deeply in and out through your nose. And type in the chat, you can share with me here. How was that experience for you? What's showing up in your body right now? Is there a tension, a numbness, tightening? More in tune with asking myself, not why, numb and tense, okay? So dissociation. I used to notice I would look in the body, look in the mirror, not recognize myself, and this felt similar. I almost couldn't process that I was tapping my own body. I used to experience that a lot, that numbness and that disassociation. Like, why am I telling myself this? Okay. So, David, what I'm hearing is you were like almost questioning that belief. Okay. And then Sheldon, when you were saying the belief, it's for you, you just started to completely disconnect from your body. Okay, I also feel that. Amazing. So our higher beings are already coming in, right? Our nervous system is already like, is this true or is this just comfortable? which our body just showed us this is not fucking comfortable, right? Numbing, disassociating, tension, that's not comfortable. We know that, but sometimes it's familiar, so we stay there. And so the point is not to stay in this frequency, but this is where I really wanted you to get to see what's happening beneath the surface, that most of the time we're so caught up in our minds that we're not even aware of the sensations that are happening within our bodies, right? And so if that tension felt really deep as well, I invite you to just start to rub your hands over your upper arms or over your face and just start to bring in this felt sense of safety again, because this was just to see, how does this limiting belief show up in my body? Because that's not truth, right? Truth feels open. Truth feels good. Truth feels alive. Whereas this is that fragment, this is that contraction within the body that's stopping the energy from flowing. And so I'm curious, how often do you think you live in that limited state when it comes to this area of your life? 50% of the time, 60% of the time, 100% of the time, most of the time, 75%. Okay. Amazing awareness just with all of this, guys. Incredible, incredible job. 30 to 40%. Okay. Amazing awareness. So now liberation is, for me, when we allow ourselves to feel that depth. This is where I was saying before, we have to go through it, right? The only way out is through to get to that other side. And then through alignment, we're able to tap into what is the other side, right? And so I'm curious, if we didn't believe that I'm not worthy or that I'm not able to support myself, Sheldon, I'm not sure which belief you were using, but what would the opposite of that be? And there may be more than one belief, right? Right? It could be a longer narrative if you want to type that out. Like, really allow yourself to feel without, right? We're not manipulating the outcome, but we're manipulating, or we're working with the feeling. So the opposite of I'm not worthy, right? Because I'm being rejected, could be I am worthy, right? I deserve that love. And also that maybe reminding yourself that the actions of other people, as we just realized, everyone is so programmed. So those are a reflection of their program and not actually of you, right? Has actually nothing to do with you in this moment, especially when you're working on yourself. That is a reflection of them and their own fragmented patterns, right? So I am good enough. I deserve love, happiness, success, wealth, joy, self-love. Yes. I have unlimited resources to support myself. I am worthy and ready. I have the experience and expertise to facilitate change in the lives of my clients, which will magnetize people to me who need my work. Amazing. Okay. So, I love that you guys are so open, and just thank you. So what we're going to do now is, because a lot of the work that I do is really with experiencing, right? And I had actually never really paid much attention to how limiting beliefs showed up in the body. And the more awareness that I had to that, the more it really transformed my ability to check in with myself throughout the day and notice, when am I connecting to that feeling, right, of numbness, of tension, of that shutdown, or that disassociation, right? And or when do I feel alive? When do I feel open? So we have these new stories. And if you are able to get up and move, I'm going to really invite you to do that. And if you're, give me actually a 1, are you able to get up and move? Okay, 1 and no can do. All right. So David, I'm going to invite you to butterfly tap again. And And maybe you even are going to like rub your arms or your face as you repeat. And there will be some music, so the music will also help. And then Sheldon, get up and move with this. So we're going to do 2 songs or 3 songs. The first song is going to be connecting to that limiting belief once more. And I want you to really allow that to move through you. So there may be tension, there may be clenching, there may be that you make yourself into a ball, or it may want to move. The second would be, how would it feel to work through that? And the third will be, how would it be to be on the other side, which is to connect to this new way of being. And so, okay, we're going to do that. I will remind you at the beginning of each song. But yes, so get yourselves ready. We're going a little bit over also. Apologies, but we definitely will probably have about 10 more minutes. Okay. So we'll start with this first one. If you could just connect to the feeling of that pain, what would that feel like? We'll be here for about a minute. So just let yourself connect. Repeat that limiting belief to yourself.
I won't keep watching you dance around in your smile. You flicker out, nothing like I used to know. I don't believe in safety nets. Stronger love, make it alright to let go. You gotta hold on. Oh, it's gonna slip, slip, slip through your, slip, slip, slip through your hands. Oh, it's gonna slip, slip, slip through your, slip, slip, slip through your hands.
Okay, just take a moment, take a deep breath in. You're safe, you're good, but just let that feeling be felt. Really connect to that I am not worthy, I can't support myself. And now start to think of what would it feel like for me to be free of this, to start to let go. So we're not quite yet to the other side, but what needs to be released? What needs to be let go? What needs to be remembered? Ask your nervous system to show you, ask your mind to show you, what do I need to let go? Let that move through your body, that letting go. Letting any final tidbits go for this short movement. Okay, and just pause, take a deep breath, and just start to notice any shifts in the body between that first limiting belief and the feeling that maybe I can start to let go. Maybe I can heal. Maybe I am worthy. Maybe I can support myself. And we're going to end with one final song. I invite you to find that new belief. I am good enough. I deserve love, happiness, success, wealth, joy, self-love. I have unlimited resources to support myself. I am worthy and ready. I have the experience and expertise to facilitate change in the lives of my clients, which will magnetize people to me who need my work. And just repeat these new beliefs to yourself for this next minute and a half as you tap into this new feeling and allow this energy to flow through your body. Just take a pause wherever you are. And once more, just notice what's alive in your body when you connect to this other reality, this other way of being, to the universe responding to you now that you are worthy, that you can do it, that you do deserve everything that you desire, and you are capable of receiving it. And share in the chat, how does that feel in your body? More optimistic. Okay. Is there opening? I love that. More optimistic. Was there a softening of that tension? Did the numbness feel more alive? It feels lighter. Amazing. Lighter. So aligned. Okay. Amazing awareness. So obviously this is just a really small demonstration, and this is only through the body that we worked with today, but of really being able to just see the power that these beliefs have, not only on your mind, but as you can see, it affects your body. It truly does. And this is when you learn how to balance these thoughts and to maintain them and to create that feeling within the nervous system, which is done through connecting to the body and through allowing yourself to feel the pain of those emotions that maybe we're ignoring, right? Not saying get stuck in them, but let yourself feel, what does it feel like to tell myself I'm not worthy? What does it feel like to tell myself I can't do it? And when we allow our nervous system to really dive into that, into the grief, into the pain, into the fear, into everything that has led us to create that pattern and really make it so strong that it's now subconsciously running our lives, when we can truly dive into that pain, we can create space for the other side, and we can stop diving into that pain a little bit, then only diving into the abundance a little bit, right? And staying in that neutrality. And instead we become limitless, which means we open up to the full range, right? And that's where the magic happens. Because when we come into that place of pure alignment, right? This for me is really over and over. Do I choose love or do I choose fear? Do I choose trust or do I choose control? Do I choose surrender, right? Or am I choosing to try and sacrifice what I truly want in order to feel that safety? And over and over and over again, you choose the reality that you desire. And that is what creates your world, your reality. And so in order to recode your reality, you really need to recode your nervous system, to recode the patterns that are running within your subconscious mind, within your body, and within your aura to create your field of attraction. And that all starts with a single choice. And the more that you do that, that is where magnetism, which is the final step, is created. When you decide to repair your nervous system, to get unstuck, to rewire those old patterns, and to align your energy to your natural state of abundance and receptivity. And this is when you become irresistible to love, to opportunities, to success, to abundance, to worthiness. And I like to call it miracles, but the truth is that miracles feel, when we hear miracle, it sounds like a phenomenon that we've been blessed to receive. And while life is a blessing, it's a choice, right? Being open, being abundant, being magnetic. If it were so easy, everyone would be doing it. But showing up every single day for yourself is a choice, right? It is a true choice that you make to say every day, I'm going to look myself in the mirror and connect with the parts of me that are stopping myself. I'm going to truly get to the root cause of the disrepair, the dysregulation of my nervous system. And I'm going to choose every day a new path. And that is the path. And where most people go wrong is not going deep enough. And they think that they are, but they're staying in that point of neutrality. Or they start to tread the path and then they let fear get in the way, right? They decide, this is the way, I choose myself. And then something happens and they get deterred. They don't see results fast enough. They don't receive the love, or a relationship falls apart. And rather than trusting that something new, something better is coming, they try to control what's happening right now. That is where most people go wrong. It's trusting that everything is meant to be exactly as it is in this moment. And you also have the power to shift where your future goes. But it all starts and ends with you. There is nothing outside of yourself that will bring you those feelings that you so easily just cultivated, right? Just through a minute and a half of dance, through those 1.5, 5.5 minutes together, right? You were able to see what it could feel like on the other side. Where most people go wrong is not going deep enough through this work to truly come out on the other side and make it a normal way of being. But it is possible. And it's possible for you the moment you decide that things will work for you instead of to you. That you remember that you are the creator. You decide, I'm going to live a life that makes, I love when I write these things, but that makes my panties wet, that makes my heart full. Like, I want to wake up every day, turn the fuck on by my life. And I know that if you're here, you do too. And once you do that, know that the universe is working with you to deliver. There are limitless possibilities, right? And so you get to decide. You get to recode from the inside out and know that every single time you do that, that the universe is rearranging itself to meet you where you're at. And so thank you for this, taking the time to join, for your energy, for receiving all of this. And if you're sitting there right now not knowing where do I go from here, maybe this sparked a something within you and now you're like, I know I want to go deeper, but I'm not sure how. I'm here to support you. This is exactly what I do with my clients. I help them regulate their nervous systems. I help them build their dream businesses. I help them grow from there and attract healthy love, secure love, peace from within, and that safety. And I help them because I do this every single day and I know what it feels like to be on both sides. And so this is what I have built in my one-on-one program, Come Alive, that I am now also offering as a group program. So whether you're here live receiving this message right now, or if you are watching the recording, if you're interested, if you'd like to go forward, if you want to go deeper, I'm offering free curiosity calls for anyone. If you just want to talk about where you're at and see if it's a good fit, or if you know, fuck yes, this is for me, I'm here to support you. And yeah, that is where we are at, my loves. So you can use the QR code here if you feel called to book a curiosity call. And if you feel like you got everything you needed from today, amazing. Thank you so much for just sharing your time and sharing your energy.